Hi team, I hope you're all well. Today we are going to be doing my September MBR. I am in my new bookish t-shirt hoodie that Andy's mum's got me. I'm absolutely obsessed with it and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get myself out of it, to be perfectly honest, because I love it. But yeah, I'm really excited about September. Spooky season is just around the corner and I am ready. I'm not gonna lie, I'm so hyped. So before we get into what is going on my MBR, remember this is a maybe read TBR essentially. I do need to do my Patreon pick for the month. I am terrified about this because yet again we do still have Empire of the Vampire in here. I mean, if I'm going to get to it at any point, maybe now's a good enough time, but I thought that, you know, August would be the one, but apparently not. So let us pick something from in here. Oh, fucking hell. It was going to be, wasn't it? Aslau. You got me. Let me grab that. Okay, so we have got Empire of the Vampire on here as my first book by J. Kristoff. I've decided to pull my Waterstones one off the shelves because the edges are black rather than the fancy, was it Illumicrate edition, the other one, because I do have that one as well. This book is chonky, it's so big. Aslau. Shit. 719 pages. I'm not sure I'm ready for this, I'm not gonna lie. Does this have like, there was a couple of illustrations in at the back. Does it have illustration like pages all the way through? Oh yeah, it does. Okay, cool. Some of the pages are taken up by illustrations. Not many, but some. Right, this is a vampire story as far as I know. It's been 27 long years since the last sunrise. For nearly 3 decades, vampires have waged war against humanity, building their eternal empire even as they tear down our own. Now, only a few tiny sparks of light endure in a sea of darkness. Gabriel de Leon, half man, half monster, and last remaining Silver Saint, a sworn brother of the Holy Silver Order, dedicated to defending the realm from the creatures of the night, is all that stands between the world and its end. Now imprisoned by the very monsters he vows to destroy, the last Silver Saint is forced to tell his story. A story of legendary battles and forbidden love, of faith lost and friendships won, of the wars of the blood and the forever king, and the quest for humanity's last remaining hope, the Holy Grail. It does sound interesting, and I think the thing that makes me keep these books in general, because I have been terrified about picking them up and I've had them for a long time now, is the first line: "Ask me not if God exists, but why he's such a prick." It's got me intrigued. So yeah, I don't know how long this has been out now. I think it's been 2021. It's been a good couple of years, and the new one is coming out as well, not too far away. I think it's the beginning of next year maybe, and I have pre-ordered the Waterstone special edition, so it's probably about time I got to this, because otherwise that Waterstone special edition is going to be a little bit of a waste of my time. We will see. But yeah, thanks Aslau for putting this on my TBR. I do appreciate it. My MBR, that is. I ever so slightly appreciate that, thank you. I mean, you are forcing me to pick it up, so I can't be too mad about it, you know. Let's pop that up there because I don't need that again now. And just put that there so you can see what's going on. Alright, so this is the stack of books that I currently have for the month of September. I have lots of other intentions as well, but this is what I want to tell you about. So the first thing I do have is the Clitlit book pick for September, and that is The Drowned Girls by Lorith Ann White. This is on the hunt for a serial killer. A troubled detective confronts the secrets of her past. I believe this is like an erotic thriller, if you like. He surfaced 2 years ago, then he disappeared, but Detective Angie Pallarino hasn't forgotten the violent rapist who left a distinct calling card, crosses etched into the flesh of his victims' foreheads. When a comatose Jane Doe is found in a local cemetery, sexually assaulted, mutilated and nearly drowned, Angie is struck by the eerie similarities to her earlier unsolved rapes. Could he be back? Then the body of a drowned young woman, also bearing marks of the serial rapist, floats up in the gorge, and the hunt for a predator becomes a hunt for a killer. Assigned to the Joint Investigative Task Force, Angie is more than ready to prove that she has what it takes to break into the all-male homicide division, but her private life collides with her professional ambitions when she's introduced to a temporary partner, James Maddox, a man she met just the night before in an intense, anonymous encounter. Together, Angie and Maddox agree to put that night behind them, but as their search for the killer intensifies, so does their mutual desire. And Angie's forays into the mind of a monster shake loose something unsettling, secrets about her own past. How can she fight for the truth when it turns out her whole life is a lie? I'm really intrigued about this. I hadn't realised, I've never read the back of this book, but I hadn't realised what this entailed. So just be wary of the trigger warnings if you're going into this. They're very, very clear as day on the back of the book. Does give me Mindfuck series vibes by S.T. Abbey though, I'm not gonna lie. Albeit that one is the serial killer and the detective, this one is detective and detective. But yeah, giving me Mindfuck series vibes, which I really enjoyed. There wasn't as much smut in that as I'd hoped though. So that is the first book on this MBR. The second one is my Patreon buddy read for September and also October, and this one will actually complete one of the prompts for the Battlethon Readathon, which I am taking part in, and also I'm one of the co-hosts for one of the teams. I am on the green team and I'm very, very excited and I'm hoping we smash it. But one of the prompts for the readathon is to read a book that teaches you something or is set at like a school, etc., has academia involved in some way or another. So for this one I've decided to combine it with my Patreon buddy read for September and October and actually get it out of the way early, fresh and early, which is great news. And that is going to be Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I'm really, really excited about reading this one. I know it is very well beloved in the community, so I'm really hyped about reading it. This is the gorgeous Fairy Loot edition, which is absolutely stunning and has some very pretty artwork inside as well, like so. And under the dust jacket is also absolutely beautiful with this foil. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I don't know a great deal about it. I just know it's about some rival journalists and there's a magical element to it. So when two rival journalists find love through a magical connection, their fate depends on their facing the depths of hell together. After centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again. All 18-year-old Iris Winnow wants to do is hold her family together. With a brother forced to fight on behalf of the gods now missing from the front line, and a mother drowning her sorrows, Iris's best bet is winning the columnist's promotion at the Oath Gazette. But when Iris's letter to her brother falls into the wrong hands, those of the handsome but cold Roman Kit, her rival at the paper, an unlikely magical connection forms. Expelled into the middle of a mystical war, typewriters in tow, can their bond withstand the fight for the fate of mankind and, most importantly, love? An epic enemies to lovers fantasy novel filled with hope, heartbreak and the unparalleled power of love. I googled books that feature schools or academia in some way, and this was one of the books that came up, and I don't know why that happened because I don't sense schooling or academia or something that you would learn specifically in this. I don't know whether this would actually count now that I'm thinking about it. We'll have to see. I do have other options. My other options, if this doesn't count, are some horror. So I've got Bunny by Mona Awad, which is set at a university, and then also Summer Sons, which is set at Vanderbilt. So those will count for that prompt. If I've got another one in this pile actually that would count as well. So they are options just in case Divine Rivals doesn't count. I'll read it. I'm reading it anyway, but if it doesn't count, I'll pick something else up. But yeah, this is my Patreon buddy read for September and October. So I am planning on reading that also. Let's see if it fits. Yes, it does. It's quite a nice stack going there, isn't it? I'm about to crack it up with some colour. So the other book that I could pick for that prompt is Educated by Tara Westover. This is one of my Patreon buddy read for the non-fiction buddy read. I do both a bi-monthly fiction and then a quarterly non-fiction, and I am behind on it because you're about to see my previous one as well. So the last month to read this is September, so I do need to read this one. I don't know anything about it, but it's called Educated, so I'm going to assume you're going to learn some stuff. Tara Westover grew up preparing for the end of the world. She was never put in school, never taken to the doctor. She did not even have a birth certificate until she was 9 years old. At 16, to escape her father's radicalism and a violent older brother, Tara left home. What followed was a struggle for self-innovation, a journey that gets to the heart of what an education is and what it offers, the perspective to see one's life through new eyes and the will to change it. It does sound interesting, and I have heard incredible things, so I am intrigued by this one. I just always end up putting off non-fiction reads because I'm not that fussed about reading non-fiction. Got to be like super invested for me to be able to pick it up. So the next non-fiction book that I am behind on is The Five, The Untold Lives of Women Killed by Jack the Ripper by Hallie Rubenhold. I've been meaning to pick this up now for 5 months because obviously we had a 3-month stint with it, and then I'm 2 months older over on Educated. So this one is following Polly, Annie, Elizabeth, Catherine and Mary Jane. They're famous for the same thing, though they never met. They came from Fleet Street, Knightsbridge, Wolverhampton, Sweden and Wales. They wrote ballads, ran coffee houses, lived on country estates. They breathed ink dust from printing presses and escaped people traffickers. What they had in common was the year of their murders, 1888. Their murderer was never identified, but the name created for him by the press has become more famous than any of these women. In this devastating narrative of 5 lives, historian Hallie Rubenhold finally gives these women back their stories. It sounds absolutely fascinating, and I do find the whole Jack the Ripper thing very fascinating. I watch a lot of documentaries on it, so I'm really intrigued about that one, and I do need to get to it. So that is also on here. Then I'm going to Scotland for a week in September, the 8th to the 15th, if I remember correctly, and I wanted to read something that would be associated with where I'm going. So I decided to have a butcher's and see what books on my TBR are set in Scotland. I don't have a lot. If you have any recommendations, let me know in the comments down below. I would like to add more. I am part Scottish. My mum's side of the family on her dad's side are Scottish descendants. Armstrong is her maiden name, so we are quite heavy on the Scottish thing, and I am actually getting a new tattoo in. Actually, I will already have it when this video goes up. I'm getting it on Thursday. This video will go up on Sunday. And it is related to the Armstrong family name. So really excited about it. And I just love Scotland. I love it. And I love to lean into like my Scottish heritage. So really excited about the thought of reading Scottish books while I'm staying in Scotland for a week. And the only 2 books I could find that are set in Scotland, I could be entirely wrong, you could be looking at some of my shelves right now going, bitch, that book is set in Scotland, but the only 2 that I could find that I haven't read yet are romances. So I do have Beyond the Thistles by Samantha Young, which is actually the first in the Highland series. This is following Walker Ironside. It's been a long time since Walker left behind Scotland and the memories that haunt him. Yet after years of travelling the world as a bodyguard, love me a bodyguard romance, Walker misses his homeland enough to return to a village in the Scottish Highlands that plays host to an executive members only club and Knock estate. If not happy, Walker is content working with the elite security at the club and maintaining his bachelor lifestyle. What he doesn't need is a distraction in the form of the enticing but too young newcomer, single mother Sloane Harrow. Sloane never imagined she'd get pregnant at 16, or that a decade later she'd escape from California with her daughter Callie to start over in the Scottish Highlands. Hidden and safe from Callie's dangerous father, Sloane is satisfied with their new lives. Her daughter is happy, Sloane has a stable job, a quaint cottage, a passion for baking that might just be turning into a business, and a huge crush on a brooding security guard, Walker Ironside. Unfortunately, the grumpy Scot seems immune to Sloane's charm, but she can't help but try to seduce him with her cupcakes and baked treats whenever the opportunity arises. However, when someone arrives in Arndnock, intent on destroying Sloane's life, Walker is the first to step forward to protect her and Callie, even if it means giving in to temptation and awakening his own demons. Because in doing so, Walker faces failing not only to shield Sloane from her past, but to safeguard her against his own. I'm really intrigued by this because it sounds like it's not a fluffy romance, it sounds like a darker romance, so I'm very excited about it, and I hope there is a lot of smut in here, and I feel like it will be perfect for up at Scotland. I don't know how much of these I'm actually going to get read, because my whole family, well, my whole immediate family is going. My mum, my dad, the dog, Matt, Tara, Thomas, and also Andy, my partner. So we're all going to be there. So I don't know how much reading I'm actually going to manage to get done, but it's better to go with some books, too many books, than not enough or none at all. So I'm going to be taking these two. Maybe if I'm in the middle of something else, I'll take that as well, and then my Kindle as well, to make sure that I have got that to hand. I don't go anywhere without that thing these days. So the other book that I do have is The Highland Fling by Megan Quinn. I've had this for ages. You can see the grubby finger marks that it came with because it's got a matte cover. I've had this one for ages on my TBR. I do have another one from Megan Quinn, but I don't think that one's set in Scotland. So, can an aimless American and a stormy Scotsman help each other find answers in love? Freshly fired from a third job in a row, Bonnie St James has lost her way. So when she and her best friend stumble upon a help-wanted post to run a coffee shop in the Scottish Highlands, they apply on a whim. Who knows, maybe travelling to a new place is just what she needs to figure out her next move. When the friends arrive in the tiny idyllic town of Corskelley, they instantly fall for the gorgeous Highland landscape and friendly townspeople. But Bonnie finds a less than warm welcome in Rowan McGregor, the rugged local handyman. But wrestling his own demons, Rowan's in no mood to deal with the quirky American, even if she is a bonny lass. As Bonnie and Rowan's paths inevitably cross, insults and sparks fly. Can the pair build on their similarities to help each other find purpose and direction, and maybe romance too? Or will their passionate tempers fling them apart? Sounds fantastic, so I'm really hyped for this one as well. I am thinking that I'm probably going to prioritise Beyond the Thistles over The Highland Fling, even though I've had this longer. Samantha Young is actually from Scotland, so I feel like, to be true to the video as well, because I am going to vlog my time in Scotland, to be true to the whole thing, I should prioritise a Scottish author while in Scotland. You know, if you're going to do it right. And then I do have 2 more books for a video that I'm planning on doing in October, and I really need to get ahead on filming these October videos. So I'm just going to mention them very briefly here. But the first one is A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley. This is on my R Fantasy TBR, so I need to start making some moves on that. This one is a whimsically sexy, charmingly romantic and magically hilarious book. This book put a spell on me. That's from Ali Hazelwood. I'm not going to go through the whole synopsis, but I'm assuming there's fake dating and it's between a witch and a demon, because you know what the title says. And then last but by no means least, we do have Wild is the Witch by Rachel Griffin. I've had this on my TBR for too long now without reading it, considering how much I love the nature of witches. And I do have her new one now, which is Bring Me Your Midnight. I do have that now as well, and I really want to get to that soon, so I need to get moving on this one. And this is an immersive enemies to lovers contemporary fantasy standalone. On the back it says, she should have been the one to burn. What is the one thing Pike Adler would hate more than anything else in the world? The answer slams into my mind immediately. A spell so cruel it can only be a curse. A curse to turn him into a witch, to make him become the very thing he hates. So yeah, I believe that this is following a witch who, she hates Pike Adler. She ends up trying to do a curse spell on him, but the curse gets taken away by a bird or something. She's written the curse down, she's about to do it, and it gets swept away by a bird. And she ends up recruiting the help of Pike, who is the guy she was going to curse, to try and find this curse, because it could be detrimental to the world, I believe, if it gets out. So she needs to try and find the curse before it causes any problems. I believe that that's the synopsis of this. I've read the synopsis so many times because I've planned to read it so many times and never got around to it. This is now my aim, to read this. Also, this is on my 23 books in 2023 as one of my top 11 priorities. So again, I need to start making my way through that list and start prioritizing these books, which is why I'm putting it on here as an MBR. So that is my TBR for the month. Let's stack it up and have a butcher's. Okay, so this is how we're looking, which is ridiculous because I have a whole bunch of other videos planned on top of all of this in which I haven't mentioned a single one of the books for. Jesus Christ, fucking Empire of the Vampire. Right, that's the pile. Oh my god. we're going to see what I can manage out of that, considering I'm away for a week as well. See what I can do. It's an MBR. If I don't get to it, I don't get to it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below. Have you read any of these? Let me know if you've got any Scottish recommendations for me, whether it be a Scottish author or a book set in Scotland that you think I would enjoy as well. I have obviously massively Googled Scottish books to find what was on my TBR already. Don't recommend me Outlander. I already had it and I have since unhauled it, so I'm not going to go back to it. But I appreciate the thought. I love the TV show. I have no interest in starting that series at all. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below and I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.